And we are continuing conversations with the team at Nutrien as we're on location at their global headquarters in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Joining me now, John Mayman. He is Senior Director of Business Development for Nutrien Financial. John, it's good to see you again. How are you, sir?
Very well. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, well, and thank you guys for having me up here and a lot of folks in ag media up here this week for a fall media event, getting a tour of the potash mines and much more, and really get to sit down and have conversations with folks such as yourself. And I think talking financials is a very important conversation right now. I'm sure you're hearing a lot of this from producers. So maybe if we dive in a little bit, what is the key challenge you're hearing from producers here as we look towards the end of the year? And I could probably take a guess what it is, but I'm curious what you're really hearing from producers right now.
We're seeing some just challenges with cash flow, challenges with managing to the bottom line, where we've had, I think for the most part, a pretty good year agronomically in most areas that didn't take the preventative plan at the beginning of the year. Those crops that went in the ground largely are coming out in fairly good condition. The challenge is that we see continued drops in cash receipts and commodity prices. While we've had some relief recently in interest rates, about 50 basis point drop twice over the last few months, that fails in comparison to the rapid rise that we've seen over the last really 2 years in interest rates. And so we look at net farm income overall, and that's stressed, because anytime we see such a rapid rise in inflation, we see just stress at the bottom line for the farm, and that takes into account everything that a farm needs to do because of just the cash flow and the rates that they borrow at.
Yeah, and you get into things like stagflation and all the different terms that are out there. And so I think about, as we navigate these challenges, how can Nutrien Financial help? Let's talk about that a little bit. What are some things that you guys have available to help producers with some of those cash flow challenges as we think about 2026, John?
Well, liquidity is important, and being able to pivot at a moment's notice is also important. Obviously, we have times of the year where agronomic plans change, and at those times, so too should an economic plan. And I think that's where having a vertically integrated business like Nutrien that's focused on every end of agricultural outcomes is so important. We see the products and services that we sell through Nutrien Ag Solutions. We've seen how we can go from mine to field with our fertilizer products, our agronomic services that are so critical. Having all of those pieces of the business with an economic plan that drives the agronomic integrity is really critical. And we do that in a way that doesn't necessarily compete with operating lines. You know, the operating lines are our primary source of repayment as well. And so in large part, we're unsecured in this marketplace, making sure that as we lead with the products and services that we offer financing for, that we do so in a way that's complementary. Because what we are seeing, another trend, is that banks may not be lending 100% of the needs of our customers. And so when we look at that, we need alternative lines of credit that are highly effective and impactful and complement that operating line, so our growers can make decisions without worrying about how each of those lines work together. And so ultimately, we're very synergistic with respect to the operating line. And so coming into this next year, it's going to be important to look at those alternative sources of capital, maximizing value at every turn, and having both those agronomic and economic levers to be able to change at a moment's notice. And I think that's where we're very, very complementary and right where we need to be in the marketplace.
Should farmers be prepared for a tougher conversation as they're going in to talk with their financial lenders, bankers, et cetera, here this fall, considering where things are at? I mean, compared to previous years, should they be preparing themselves for maybe a harder, a tougher conversation with taking a real sharp pencil to things, I guess is how I would say?
Well, it depends on the operation, right? I think those that own more land rather than renting land have a little bit more strength in the marketplace, but that doesn't mean that those who rent more land shouldn't have more strength. We've got, again, programs that can help in that respect. We also have some partner relationships that we can bring to the table to raise awareness on how those that might be a little bit more levered or newer in the agronomic industry starting out can weather these storms. And so from our perspective, it's taking what we can offer and maximizing that and blending it against what value cash can bring or prepay so that our growers have the best options. Because what I find is that our programs aren't used because they're not valuable. They're used because those options aren't made aware to them at the right time. And so that agronomic planning is absolutely important. And it starts with our crop consultants and making sure that we revisit that throughout the year. And if we do that properly, again, it's just bringing more options at our growers' fingertips so they can make the best decision when they need it.
I know that Nutrien, you just rolled out Nutrien Hub here in the last week or so, and that's an exciting new feature you guys have. Talk about some of the financing options within the Nutrien Hub and some of the different things that are in there that producers can take advantage of, John.
The Nutrien Hub is a really exciting collaborative effort where we can meet our growers in another new way, online, digitally, where they need, when they need. Ultimately, again, at Nutrien Ag Solutions, we have that white glove service of providing crop consultants there for that planning purpose. But there are times where growers need to step aside and use these digital tools, review these digital tools, and encompasses an array of agronomic plans, as well as a suite of new financial services offerings. And so at a minimum, our growers can look to apply online in seconds and have auto decisions. They can use paperless statements and online billing to gain greater transparency of where their purchases are flowing and how those are impacting their bottom line. And certainly in many of our areas, as we update more of our point of sale system, we have the ability for growers to commit to financing programs online, but every grower can be able to see the relevant financial services programs for their area. So you're not getting a cotton program in North Dakota or an irrelevant program in the Northeast. You're seeing the programs that are relevant to your area for your crop types with cash flow terms that are really flexible so that you can plan with your Nutrien Financial Territory Manager, your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant throughout the year to make the best agronomic plan you can.
John, anything else you would add, reiterate from Nutrien Financial as we're thinking about those decisions for next year?
Well, again, if you're not signed up for the Nutrien Hub, it's transparency at your fingertips. And that's incredibly important because we reference the need for that agronomic and economic plan. First and foremost, that gives a tool of resources that haven't been present in this marketplace and I think are best in class. And so as we head into 2025, 2026, building those powerful partnerships with those within our business and across the ag industry are going to help our growers weather a storm, do it profitably. I don't want to reside on the doom and gloom theory because there will be operations that will grow, that will prosper. And having those partnerships at your fingertips close to you is going to be the most important thing because we want to make sure that these offerings, these cash flow means, and everything else we do at Nutrien Ag Solutions is relevant for our growers' acres, their turn row, their operation, so that we can bring the breadth of a larger company down to their individual operation and make sure we maximize the value for them in the way that they need. Because, again, the definition of success depends on who we're asking. It's not the same for everybody.
Excellent thoughts. Excellent thoughts. If folks want to learn more Nutrien Financial, I'm sure online, go into their local Nutrien location. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to learn more, isn't there, John?
Yeah, it starts with that Nutrien Ag Solutions relationship. You can find out more on nutrienfinancial.com and certainly enroll in the digital hub where all of that information can be at your fingertips and done so in a way that's maximized your planning opportunities with those in our business that serve you best.
John Mayman, Nutrien Financial. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
Appreciate it.